And I'll say this is, oh, actually I'm going to do something different. I'm going to type in name of a show. And I'm going to enter, and I'm going to say maybe the time. And actually I'll do all new above that. Okay, so we have all new, space, and then the name of the show, space, time. And I'm going to go ahead and save this as, and I'll call this transparent text. Maybe underscore bug, because it's going to be right above the bug. And I'm going to ensure that this UTF-8 error won't run. We're going to save that. So now I've created that document. That document's ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run with that idea that I wanted to have this text block right above the bug. So I'm going to import this data source, the transparent text underscore bug. Bring that in and we select all. I'm going to, I don't have to hit new anymore because basically the program's been open, it hasn't closed down, so I can select KUED as the alias. It's great. Now if I go over here, I'm going to select, say, hey, I want to use a data source on this text block. I'm going to use transparent text bug. But here it just says all new. And if you go back to the stage, you'll see it just says the all new. Now, if I selected next, now you've got the next line. And if I hit next again, then there's the time. So what I can do is I'm going to create two more text blocks. And create text 2, create text 3. Now, I want them all, I want to position them all, so I want to keep an eye on the positions of these. So I want this all new, yeah, we'll have that right there, and we'll go to the text 2, and we'll have that directly below it, and then we'll have text 3 directly below that. And you can position these, you know, obviously better than what I'm doing, make them look a lot better. But I did that all to 0 frames, because if I didn't, they would all just be animating from the center default location to that point. So this is good. They're all starting off right there. So I'm still at my 0 point. And I can select text 1. I've already selected the data source as that, and that's good. I wanted to get that first line. So I have text 2. I'm going to use a data source as well. I'm going to use that transparent text bug 1. And notice I can't see my text here because this is a bug within the system. If you just click this drop down, it'll get rid of that, and now you can actually see what you should be seeing. It just automatically opens up this text field and covers that up. I don't know why. But we have text 2 selected, and then we're going to hit next. I want it to read the second line, which is the show. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the third text here. And glitch, and I'm going to click twice. Now I have 9 p.m. And just once again, I'm going to go and change all of these to right justified.
Seems like it should be a little smarter than that.
And then I'm also going to have these, I'm going to have to go one by one to define these keyframes. So I'm going to have them all start off as 0 opacity. I want them to take about 10 frames to fade in. Fade up, I'm sorry, 50%. And then once it's queued off, I want it to take another 10 frames to go off. But I want to make sure it pauses there. So I'm going to have pause keyframe on the 10th frame on each one of these layers. And your pause keyframes, this is where it gets very foggy with Ebert as far as how many different pause keyframes can I have, and then how many different layers and whatnot. Rule of thumb with me is until we get a new manual, if you do have multiple keyframes like with this one, keep them all in the exact same frame. So there's no way that the system can get confused. So then we would go through this on each layer, change the opacity to 0 and 10, or to 0, go to the 10, go up to 50, 20, back down to 0, 10, we'll do news pause keyframe. We'll do this on the third text, 0, and then I'll have, I can move that down there, bring this up to 50, go to the 20, back down to 0, add your pause keyframe on the 10. Okay, so theoretically, when I hit this play button, it's going to bring up all this information. It's all dynamically linked. You have multiple text blocks being linked to one text document, and it's going to animate in, and then it can hold. This is a great way to promote any events that you have, any shows you have coming up, anything like that. And it's going to hold basically for the duration of whatever the traffic wants to schedule it for. And then once they cue it off, it should fade off in 10 frames. There you go. So that's how you can use the text fields with dynamic linking to create new sort of promotional just kind of information here on the screen. You've probably seen it on Comedy Central, TBS, and whatnot. There's like a little hashtag down here, and I mean, it's way down here too. I mean, way beyond, I mean, even action safe. But you can have that as well. If you have any sort of hashtags you'd like to promote, you can have that information be inserted into the text document, and then you can create one of these graphics, link it directly to that. There you go. So now you can promote information that we found here, you know, maybe above your bug or off to the side, or to the left over here, really wherever you'd like to. So if we move on to, I'm looking at my list here, so we have dynamic tickers covered. We've covered dynamic text. That does a lot. It kind of frees you up in a lot of different ways to promote. So let's go to new project. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new plane. And I'm going to import that lower third video that you've created from the EE drive, if it's available. There we go. L3 clean, I believe this is it. All right. The plane currently is only 200 by 200 pixels right here. So you want to make sure that we resize that according to the size of your video. And it's a 1920 1080, so that's good. I'm going to shrink my timeline so it's a little bit easier. Now, I'm just going to hit play. I'm not going to define any pause keyframes or anything like that. I'm just going to hit play. See if we can actually see this thing play out. And unfortunately, we don't. Let's put a pause keyframe here and see if that'll let it play out. And no, of course not. Let me take a look in the preview to see what this is supposed to look like. Huh. What? Hold on, let me try it one more. See if QuickTime. Okay, so yeah. This is straight matted, yep, yeah. Alright, I'm going to restart this software just in case. We'll bring this under media, bring this in. Okay, there we go, now we see it. I once again forgot to bring it down in the timeline. So we have this, you can see that this is, I'm going to actually change my background image again so I can see this nice and clear. Maybe change it to white, yeah, there we go. I can see everything nice and clearly. So this, your export settings are great. Make all your videos just like this. The RGB plus alpha, straight matted. This is, if you don't do the straight matted, you're going to have pre-multiplied, and then it's going to look like there's a drop shadow underneath it. And when you have transparent like this, it just makes the whole thing look dark and muddy. So just be sure that it is straight matted. So you have your video here, and we didn't do anything. We didn't put any pause keyframes or anything. We just slapped down the timeline under media, and I hit play. And it'll play out. And this is exactly what will happen. This is how easy it could be when you get to designing these kind of these snazzier looking ones. All the work is done in After Effects or in your studio when shooting green screen stuff. Once this comes to the end, I forget exactly how long this lower third is, but once this does come to the end of this, geez, this could be. Do you remember how long this lower third played out for?
30 seconds.
30 seconds? Okay, there it goes. It just stopped. So it wouldn't just stop like this. It wouldn't just hold on the screen if you send it to air. It would drop out. That's why this is not an accurate sort of preview, because right now it's just stuck in a pause, and it would not do that on there. It would just literally drop out. So if this particular video didn't animate itself out and it just literally dropped out like that, be aware of that when you make these in After Effects, and make sure that you give these, that you do the animation out. Do all that work in After Effects. Make sure that the thing pretty much gets itself off screen as cleanly as possible in the video, because once it gets to the end of the video, it's literally going to cut right out. But just to kind of reiterate, let's say if I was to create a pause keyframe, we're going to just take a look and see what would happen if I was to create a pause keyframe. Maybe at the 4-second mark. Now, theoretically, I think it's going to play this video all the way to this point, and then loop it, and loop it, and loop it, and loop it. And then once I hit stop, it's going to continue to play this out for the duration, which is going to be another 25 some odd seconds. So let's see. 2, 3, 4. And it should loop. Should. I'm going to wait for this 30 seconds to play out and see if it actually loops. Another sort of pitfall when Evertz doesn't give you any software and you're just having to find out, how does this going to function? So always preview. Okay, so there it just looped. So if you were to have, see, this is why I have to get on them. I'm going to hit stop. Now it's going to, because I hit stop at that 4-second mark. This is what would happen if it was on air. There's video to play out. So now it's going to play out the another 24 seconds of that video. Then it'll come off. So I mean, it's, right now if we were to keep clicking stop, if you're really not doing anything, it's just going to continue to play out the rest of the video. Then it will take itself off air. I don't think it should. Or it would crash, like this right here.
Did it stop at that second pause? The pause that was 4 seconds in?
See, it should have, that theoretically is what it should have done, is that it should have looped from that point, and then once I hit stop, then it would just continue to play this out until it came to an end, and then it would just cut out. So this is a weird example because we wouldn't do it with this video in particular, but if we were to have like an animated bug, you would have this, let's say this is your animation in, and then you would have an image. I'm just gonna, just for the purpose of the timeline, so we can see how the timeline would look, I'm gonna import that bug image. Okay, so I have that image right here, and then I would append this to the end of the resource. So that's there. And then let's say this is our outro animation. I'll do the same, append to the end of the resource. So this is really how it would look. You would have two videos that are sandwiching this pause keyframe. Oh, my window is a little bit askew here. Right there. So we have our intro animation video, pause keyframe, outro animation video. This pause keyframe would have to go directly above this pause keyframe because, it's just going to keep looping this one image. So these pause keyframes and the positioning is ultra really selective, and it's really finicky. We just saw that to where it's, what happens if you go in the middle of the video and it just acts really kind of weird. So when you're building these new graphics, if you do hit a snag, we just want this ultimate, as long as you know what you want the outcome to be, then we can work through it and make sure that we know exactly how to build it. If you have issues building it, get a hold of me. Yeah, there's a lot of these instances where it's like, why is it doing that? And most people wouldn't even really know, so we'll find out together. So this is how you would do like any sort of video. Let's say we created these snipes to where we've had dancing people over here. You know, I shot some talent in front of a green screen, and they, you know, come walking on, and you know, they knock on the glass and whatnot. And it's all this, you know, fun stuff that you can do in After Effects. Then you would just export this video file, same thing as what you did, and the workflow is really that easy. Slap it on the timeline and publish it, and that's it. And it'll automatically play itself out to the end, and then take itself off air. So, and also in that case, let traffic know too. You know how long those are going to be. This one is 30 seconds long, just so that they know that they can't schedule another graphic for 31 seconds. You know, because you can only have one graphic on at any one time. You can butt them up, you know, one after the other, but I think there has to be a few seconds in between each graphic being scheduled, so everything plays out nice and clean. So, go for a new. So now you know how to create your bugs, simple animation on and off, the dynamic tickers. You know how to utilize text blocks and dynamically link those as well. Importing videos and attaching them to planes, importing images and attaching them to planes. Now, really, let's try and manipulate, lastly, programs with like maybe a squeeze and tease sort of thing. Let's go. I'm going to create 2 plane objects. 2 of these. And if we see this right here, where we have this layers tab, I want to make sure that you always be aware of these layers and how everything's layered. I want program on layer 1. I want that to squeeze back to reveal plane 2, which would, let's say, it would be an image that I would have. So I'm going to go over to plane 1, make sure that plane 1 is layered on top, just like in Photoshop or whatnot. But I'm going to go over here and import as a new source. Oh, I'm sorry, not here. Over sources. See this program here? I can drag program and attach that in plane layers 1 timeline as a media asset. To bring that in, and now I've assigned plane layer 1 to control program itself. And I know the program is going to be 1920 by 1080, so I'm just going to define this myself. 1920 1080. And then I'm going to maybe, let's say this bug was, you don't happen to have a full screen image, do you?
No, I didn't throw a full
No.
screen up here.
Okay, that's fine. We just won't really see that. So we're just going to have plane layer 2. Let's say this is a full screen that was developed by some graphic artists over by you guys, and it's just promoting, you know, a show or whatnot. This could also be a video that would play out underneath as well. So then I would just attach this image to plane layer 2. Obviously define the size because it's still 200 by 200. And now what we would do is we would have to figure out exactly how long this is. Whoever's designing this would have to work very closely with Draft to let them know exactly how long this graphic is and how things would have to align up. Let's go over to plane 1, which is programmed. What I want to do is I want to have this squeeze back top right corner, and I want it to take maybe 20 frames to do that. I want it to show whatever the message is underneath, whether it's the image or whether it's a video, and then at the time that I want it to come off, I want it to animate back out. So let's say I have a video underneath there, 10 seconds long. That means that I have to have that video underneath as the program starts to squeeze back. So I really need, 20 frames. The video's still there, and then I have to make sure that I have this thing scheduled off 20 frames before 10, right? Because if he cues it off, and then that action is going to cue the scale out, you're still going to need that video to play out. So you want to make sure that you're kind of not forgetting the ones or not forgetting the remainders or whatnot. Just kind of keep an eye on your frames and how to fill that in. So we're just going to start building this. The position, I'm going to create a pause keyframe here on the 0 mark. The transform, well, it's basically a transform key with your position, and then I'm also going to be affecting the scale. So I'm going to create a new scale frame as well. I'm going to go to the 20 frame. I don't know why. See, I thought I was on 0. I wasn't. Bring us back over. Go to 20. And I want this scale, I want everything to go half size. Well, let's say quarter size. And then I want it to reposition top right. So now you notice that my keyframe's already built over here. So now you see he'll cue it on. Program's going to squeeze back, revealing this plane layer 2 underneath. And then I want it to hold. So I want to create that pause keyframe. And then it's going to do its thing. Whether it's an image, it'll just stay up for however long traffic has it scheduled for. If it's a video, you want to make sure that you have enough time on the out. It says basically you let them know, hey, it's going to take 20 seconds for this thing to fade out. So give it, however much time. You got to do the math. So we're going to go over to the 40. And we want this to scale back out. So get this. I'm going to, I'll copy this, make it easy. And I'll paste this keyframe. Copy. Paste. So that it'll automatically squeeze back, hold, and then it would expand back out. Unfortunately, in Overature, there are no Bezier curves, so it's going to kind of be this linear display. It's going to be a little it's not the cleanest, I wouldn't think, as the designer, but it does give you the functionality. And that's the same as with text blocks and things like that. I've created billboards where I submitted a 10-second video, nice little snazzy video where basically I've submitted that 10-second as an interstitial to traffic, and then I've created this this graphic where I have multiple dynamically linked text blocks that animate in, that start large and they fade in and then they kind of shrink down to their positions, one after the other, after the other, after the other, with the show time and then the show name. So that's one of the more detailed graphics that I've made, and unfortunately, because it does not have the Bezier curve sort of support, it's just sort of this linear, start and stop display. So this is that squeeze and tease sort of option that you could do, and really anything can play out underneath there. It could be a video, it could be an image. So with that, I mean, that's really kind of the main overview of what you can do with this, and that's really kind of the sky's the limit with a lot of it, because it's as long as you have these produced, as far as if it's a snipe down here that has a lot of animation and whatnot, that's really just heavy on your creative department. Once they send you that video file or whatnot, it's using this software. It's really kind of easy to just slap it on the timeline, make sure that it looks how it needs to look, and then go ahead and publish it. And then traffic can queue that up as they see fit. So with that, I'm going to just kind of reset this and then open it up to any questions that you or your team might have.